Coming up on Sunrise, the city of Kingsville is set to have a special meeting over the recall election of 3 city commissioners. What will happen if the appeal is allowed? Plus,
a cemetery left unkept. I'm Melissa Trevino, learning how a dead tree and the condition of the old Collins Cemetery is causing worry for a Coastal Bend woman.
good morning. Welcome to Chris 6 Sunrise. Thank you so much for waking up with a solo Hoffman today. I'm Michelle Hoffman. Brian Hoffman will be here later on today, but we have meteorologist Stephen Jones with us this morning. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Michelle. It's been pretty good so far. Stepping out the door this morning felt nice. What about you?
Yeah, no, I agree. I do wear the long sleeves though because we always have office winter in here.
Oh yeah, it is pretty. It's pretty cold in here, pretty much always. I know. That was one of the first things I heard getting here. You know, it's always cold in here, so maybe bring a blanket. You know, just to be prepared. But going outside, it's the total opposite story during the daytime, right? You know, it just gets a little too warm at times. Still feeling a little bit more like summer, right?
Yeah, I don't mind it at all, though, especially for the weekend.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just looking pretty good out there today as we're looking at some of our roadways, getting a more in-depth look. Not too many major slowdowns right now. Here's a look at the Harbor Bridge to and from Portland this morning. Looking pretty good and green both ways, whichever direction you're headed. Here in Corpus Christi, Ocean Drive looking good. SPID as well, nice and green, as well as Saratoga, just some minor slowdowns there near Airline Road to keep in mind. Crosstown Expressway looking good, though. Closer to the island, moving over towards Flower Bluff Drive looking good. Waldron Road, a minor slowdown to worry about. And of course, the normal slowdown you hit whenever you're heading towards the gates there at Naval Air Station Corpus Christi. Heading over towards the island looks good and green as well this morning. And I'll look at some of those drive times real quick. Downtown to the island sitting about 22 minutes. Portland to downtown around 8 minutes right now. Cal Allen to downtown sitting at that 14-minute mark. So wherever you're coming from and wherever you're going to, looking good and green this morning. But don't go anywhere. We'll have more news and weather heading your way.
Yeah, Stephen, thank you so much. And we'll get to your neighborhood news in just a bit. But first, today marks 17 days of the government shutdown, with Republicans and Democrats warning the stalemate could stretch on for many more days. Democrats are holding firm in their demands for Obamacare subsidies to be extended. President Trump has hinted that he could release a list today of Democratic programs he wants to cut as a result of the shutdown. On Tuesday, the president told reporters the programs will close and will not continue when the government reopens. The president stressed that so-called Republican programs will be preserved. And President Donald Trump is set to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky today at the White House. The meeting comes as President Trump considers Ukraine's request for long-range Tomahawk missiles, and the meeting with Zelensky also comes ahead of another planned summit in Hungary between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, Scripps News Group Nathaniel Reed will join us at 6:12 with the latest. Here at home, the 2 Del Mar College instructors who have been accused of inappropriately touching students at Falfurrias High School have been charged. Jose Uribe, one of the welding instructors, turned himself in to the Brooks County Jail Thursday morning. The other instructor, Martin Fonseca, turned himself in Wednesday and was also released on bond. Both have been charged with 2 counts of assaulting causing bodily injury. And Chris 6 News asked Uribe to comment on the allegations when he bonded out. He didn't talk to our photographer, though. The city of Kingsville will be having a special meeting at the City Hall next Wednesday to discuss the judge's decision to allow the recall election of 3 city commissioners. As we reported previously, the attorney representing the city and the 3 commissioners said the recall petition was not filed in time. He also mentioned he believes the judge made a mistake. According to the attorney, they only have 10 days to appeal the decision, and if the appeal is allowed, it means it will go to the Texas 13th District Court of Appeals. Now, the disaster declaration for the city of Beeville has been extended. Last Thursday, the city made its official declaration of a local state of disaster due to low levels in Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon. That declaration was set to expire in 7 days, but the council approved the 30-day extension at a special meeting on Wednesday. However, a vote on amending water restrictions and penalties to reflect Stage 4 was tabled and will be moved to a later date.
I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter in Alice. This big tree behind me is a concern for one woman whose family has plots here at the old Collins Cemetery. Lamar Chapa tells me she's been trying to find a solution for months, but she's yet to find a way to get the cemetery cleaned up. Lamar Chapa lives in Robstown, but has family buried at the Old Collins Cemetery in Alice. Every time she visits, she sees trash. When she was getting ready to get her sister a headstone earlier this year, she heard some disturbing news from the funeral home. There's a large dead tree close to the family plot. Headstones and graves in the area of the tree are in danger of being damaged if that tree falls. Plus, Chapa says the illegal dumping at the cemetery is out of hand. She's reached out to officials, but nothing has been done yet. I spoke with Alice's city manager, who says they'll be sending a tree removal company to look at the tree.
Well, good morning, Coastal Bend. Taking a live look at Snoopy's Pier out there. And thanks to Matthew CCAC, sitting at 77 degrees, winds out of the south-southeast about 7 miles an hour right now. Traffic flowing nice and smooth there along the bridge as well, heading over closer to the island. As we're going into our weekend, looking like a pretty good one out there. First, I want to talk about how we shaped up for our Thursday. 90 degrees for that daytime high, above the average of 85 where we're supposed to be this time of the year. Morning lows, though, right on the money, coming in at 66 degrees. Well above that average, or record, I should say. 47 is where we were back in 1974. Rainfall, of course, very short of where we should be for this time of year. And sunset getting earlier and earlier. 7 p.m. sunsets we've said goodbye to until spring. So get used to, I guess I should say, those 6 p.m. time frame for sunsets. Currents in Corpus Christi sitting about 70 degrees, feeling like 70, and humidity well up there at 87%. Winds pretty light out of the southeast, 3 miles an hour right now as we're heading into the 6 a.m. hour. And plenty of moisture along the coast. You can see 70s for dew points along the coast, 70 from Rockport and Port Aransas, 72 at the Naval Air Station, 62 the driest spot, if you want to say that's dry, up in Beeville right now, 66 for Portland as well as Corpus Christi. And whenever we're looking at those current temperatures, lots of 60s inland, 65 for Beeville, 66 over there in San Diego, 69 in Robstown, 73 there in Ingleside, and the warm spot going to be Port Aransas, coming in at a nice 80 degrees this morning. All of us going to warm up into those mid to upper 80s as we go through the day. Port Aransas not going to see too much of a warm up since they're already sitting at 88 degrees this morning. Feels like temperatures, though, we just looked at the dew points and we saw likely where we're going to be for daytime highs. That's going to be pretty warm. What we're going to be feeling like 92 degrees already by that lunchtime hour, topping out about 97 degrees, maybe even 98 as we're heading in towards that daytime high. So feeling a little bit warm this Friday, very much more like summer as opposed to fall. But we're going to see how we shape up as we go through the next few weeks. For right now, I want to talk about the rain, looking at the Doppler radar. Nice and clear skies across the coastal bend this morning. You see just a little bit of activity off towards the north there by Seadrift. Hopefully we see a little bit of this activity try to shift south into the coastal bend. I know we need the rain here in Corpus Christi as well, but for right now, models do want to indicate this activity remains off towards the north, just outside the area. So I'm going to keep my eyes on that, and we definitely need it. Like we said, that moderate drought in place last week. Here's a look at this week's update. You can see not a ton of changes around the coastal bend, still very dry from where we're supposed to be, but a very much expansion of that extreme drought around the San Antonio and Austin areas. Still that exceptional drought over there in Medina County. So all of South Texas, even Central Texas, definitely needs the rain. And as we go through the next 7 days, not a ton on the board, but we do have a weak cold front to talk about Sunday night. That mainly drops overnight lows from the 70s to the 60s for a night before we see some return flow. And that's what's going to hold our daytime highs right around that 90-degree mark.
Sounds good, Stephen. Thank you so much. So President Trump is set to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky today. Coming up on Sunrise, Scripps News Group, Nathaniel Reed will join us with the latest. Welcome back, folks. President Donald Trump is set to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky today at the White House. The meeting comes as President Trump considers Ukraine's request for long-range Tomahawk missiles. To talk more about today, we bring in Scripps News Group, Nathaniel Reed. Good morning, Nate. So, loaded question this morning. Will President Trump achieve peace?
Yeah, Michelle, a lot of questions about that going into this meeting. And furthermore, those long-range Tomahawk missiles that Ukraine has been openly asking for, they believe that there's something they could use to be a game changer in this conflict, allowing them to strike deep inside Russia. President Trump, though, throwing cold water on the, at one point, possibility that he was going to give these weapons to the Ukrainian president and to the Ukrainian people to allow them to try and break the standstill in this ongoing deadly conflict in Eastern Europe. President Trump saying he spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin yesterday, and that Putin urged him to not give the missiles to Ukraine. Take a listen.
I did actually say, would you mind if I gave a couple of thousand Tomahawks to your opposition? I did say that to him. I said it just that way. He didn't like the idea. It's a vicious, offensive, incredibly destructive weapon. Nobody wants Tomahawks shot at them.
We asked you not to provide Tomahawks?
So, wouldn't anybody?
And again, not clear if President Trump said that in jest or if this is indicative of a larger situation that's ongoing. At this point, a lot more questions than answers about what can be ironed out today. President Trump also announcing he'll meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin again in Budapest, Hungary at some point in the coming weeks. A lot of questions today about whether he will see eye to eye with Zelensky, if there's a peaceful end to this war, and furthermore, whose terms this war will end on. President Donald Trump again, has to make this decision of whether to side with Russia or Ukraine in coming up with terms to end this war. The president saying he wants to stop the killing. At this point, really unclear how this whole thing will shake out.
Well, thank you, Nate, so far for the information. We hope you have a great weekend. Now, folks, we're moving on to some national headlines. Senate Republican leaders are considering taking up a bill as soon as next week to pay federal workers affected by the shutdown. That's according to a source familiar with the matter. Up until now, Republicans have held off on voting to pay workers, saying Democrats needed to vote to reopen the government for that to happen. 60 votes would be needed for it to advance, which would require bipartisan support. A federal appeals court has denied the Trump administration's effort to deploy National Guard troops in Illinois. However, the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled the troops can remain in the state under federal control. Thursday's decision also comes a week after a district court judge issued a ruling that granted a temporary restraining order halting the deployment of soldiers in the state for 2 weeks.
Well, good Friday morning, Coastal Bend. Taking a look out there at our USS Lexington Cam, brought to us by First Community Bank. 70 degrees, winds out of the south-southeast, 3 miles an hour. And looking at the Harbor Bridge, you can see traffic flowing along really nicely right now as we're going through the 6 a.m. hour. And as we go into our weekend, shaping up to be a pretty good weekend at that, and our Friday as well. Over the past 10 hours first, though, a nice cool down last night from 77 at 10 p.m., 70 degrees as we hit 4 a.m. and have since held on to about that 70 degree mark with 60s as we went into our inland communities as well. In your neighborhood this morning, like we said, 60s, 70s, even an 80 degree out there at Port Aransas right now, the warm spot, 65 for the cool spot for both Beeville and Hebronville this morning. Calm winds out there, but at Port Aransas, winds out of the southeast 9 miles an hour, and at the Naval Air Station coming in at 7 miles an hour this morning. Looking at those visibilities, not too bad. Just in Alice, keep in mind that 5-mile visibility, just reducing it just slightly, but not too bad at that. Planning out our Friday for us here in Corpus Christi, 84 degrees by 11 a.m., 87 as we head into that 1 p.m. hour, and topping out for that daytime high, I'm calling about 89 to 90 degrees by 3 to 4 p.m. with plenty of sunshine this afternoon into evening, potentially an isolated shower trying to push in, but right now models do want to keep it just out of the area. It's just so close. I'm really hoping it does try to work in because we could use the rain. For the next 6 to 10 days, though, temperature-wise, likely warmer conditions going to persist for much of the West Coast, the Rocky Mountains, and yes, the Lone Star State and the Coastal Bend included under those above average conditions. So we aren't going to see the 90 degree trend go away quite yet. If you want to get those below average temperatures, got to go over towards the Carolinas is where they're going to be seeing that through about the next 6 to 10 days is what we're expecting right now. Whenever we're thinking about precipitation, though, looking not too bad for here in the Coastal Bend, sitting between that normal to just likely wetter here in the Coastal Bend. As we go towards the West Coast, that's where you see more of that rain throughout the middle of the country, likely drier conditions going to come in. So hopefully we could see more of this wetter pattern working into the Coastal Bend to make a good dent in that drought as well as the rain deficit that we're facing. And you can see our drought update from last week, that moderate drought around Corpus Christi, abnormally dry elsewhere. Not a ton of changes as we go into this week, but if you put your eyes up towards San Antonio, that's where you could see a pretty big expansion of that extreme drought, as well as the exceptional drought they're seeing over in Medina County still. And this is all where our watershed is there for Choke Canyon and Lake Corpus Christi. So definitely need to see a little bit working more into Corpus Christi Christi, and a lot of rain needs to fall into this region, so still waiting for that, unfortunately. And throughout the next 7 days, not expecting a ton of rain in the forecast right now, at least not on my 7-day. That weak cold front on Saturday night into Sunday does give us a little bit of a drop in temperatures from 91 to 90 degrees, but more so on the overnight lows front from in those mid-70s, potentially down into the 60s before we just go right back up into the mid-70s and hold those daytime highs right about 90 degrees.
Sounds good, Stephen. Thank you so much. Coming up on Sunrise, we have a look on how some local boating captains are taking their time to teach the next generation about what's needed to operate a boat. Welcome back, folks. Some local boating captains are doing their part to teach the next generation how to safely operate boats. Chris 6 photojournalist Joe Escobedo had a chance to speak with one of the captains.
Yeah, I mean, our passion is to make sure kids are enjoying the water safely, right? We see a lot of people on the water and doing crazy things, and clearly either they don't understand the regulations or they don't want to. But we want to make sure at least kids who go on the water are safe. Making sure they know safely how to get their boat launched, especially if they're by themselves. It takes a little experience to check the wind, make sure you're not blowing away from the dock. And part of what we do, like I said, is hands-on. So we have all the different life vests. We want to make sure kids have experience on the boat. So in addition to covering the regulations and everything required by Texas Park and Wildlife, we want to get them on the boat, make sure they understand the safety on the boat, take them out, have them actually navigate with the boat, read the GPS, understand what to do when somebody's passing them on the water, and have that experience on the boat and not just sit and look at slides or do it online. So we have some spots we've identified that we're going to use.
Well, 6:23 a.m. looking out there at our USS Lexington camp, brought to us by First Community Bank. 70 degrees as we're heading out this Friday morning. Traffic flowing nice and smooth there along the bridge. As you can see, not too much cloud cover out there and not really any rain either, so not a ton of weather going to be impacting those roadways, but getting a little bit of a closer look at some of them, at least that in-depth look at the Harbor Bridge here to and from Portland this morning. Sitting nice and green whichever direction you're heading here in Corpus Christi. Ocean Drive looking nice and green as well as Ennis-Jocelyn. SPID, no major slowdowns right now, except as you get over towards the Crosstown Expressway, just a slight slowdown there. Saratoga looking good, as well as most of Crosstown Expressway, except like we said, the SPID and Crosstown interchange there. As you work your way closer to the island, over towards Flower Bluff, still dealing with this weak or minor disturbance there on Waldron Road. Flower Bluff Drive sitting nice and green. Some of those drive times sitting around 23 minutes from downtown to the island, 8 minutes from Portland to downtown. Cal Allen to downtown sitting at 15 minutes right now, so wherever you're coming from, wherever you're going to, looking good as you head out the door, but don't go anywhere. More news and weather heading your way.
Think you don't need breast cancer screening because it doesn't run in your family? Think again. I'm Michaela Chavez, sharing how a 15-minute appointment could save your life.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Well, 6:26 a.m. Good Friday morning there. Coastal Bend taking a live look at our Snoopy Skycam, brought to us by Matthews CCAC. Looking over there at the bay, just a beautiful morning at that 70 degrees. Winds not too bad either, only sitting about 8 miles an hour or so right now. And you can see not too much cloud cover and not any rain really around the Coastal Bend, but getting more into it, taking a look over there at some of our temperatures right now, sitting in the 60s, the 70s, even an 80 degrees over there at Port Aransas as we're coming through the 6 a.m. hour. 65 in Beeville right now, going to be that cool spot tied with Alice. 70 degrees here in town, 74 over there by Ingleside, 78 up in Rockport this morning. So a good spread of those temperatures, about 15 degrees or so. And as we go through the day, all of us going to start to become more uniform. So looking like a good day to take the pup for a walk. Today's pup of the day, Taz, for that dog walking forecast. Just enjoying looking over the water, enjoying that nice breeze, and really kicking off the weekend just about like you should, I think. How those temperatures are going to shape up throughout today. 76 degrees by 9 a.m. a.m., 81 for 10 a.m. Going into that lunch hour, about 86 degrees. Winds also going to slightly pick up from very calm and variable this morning up to about southeast 35 to 10 miles an hour towards lunchtime, picking up, topping out about 15 miles an hour through the afternoon as we head towards that daytime high. For the Doppler radar's current situation, not too much activity, just a little bit that was working in towards the north there, just barely north of Seadrift, a little bit off of the coast right now. We'll see if some of this activity can try to push inland. Let's take a look at our future tracker, and you can see how it wants to mainly keep it off towards the north, up towards that Seadrift area, but I'm hoping it could shift just a little bit further south. That's definitely not out of the question, so we could still see an isolated shower or two make its way into here in Corpus Christi. Just chances looking more unlikely than not for this, because we see it should stay off towards the north, but I'm, like I said, just hoping that it makes it in, because we still need 10 inches of rain to make up for this so far this year, what we've seen. For the weekend forecast, though, looking pretty great out there. Plenty of sunshine, not too much cloud cover either. 91 degrees for your Saturday. A weak cold front on Saturday brings us to about 90 degrees. Waking up both mornings just in those lower 70s. Winds not looking too bad either. Only sitting out of the south and east-southeast 10 to 15 miles an hour. So shaping up for a great weekend. Maybe get out there to Shrimperie or the Jazz Fest as well over the next 6 to 10 days, though. In terms of that rainfall, could be good for us. We're sitting in between that normal to likely above average rainfall into the coastal bend and most of the Lone Star State, and that spreads into the west coast as well. Those drier conditions pushing down into the Appalachian Mountains from about the Dakotas up there. And as we go through the next 6 to 10 days, that's really what I'm on the lookout for, just hoping for more of that rain. And unfortunately, on our 7-day forecast, not a ton of rain in the forecast right now. Just isolated chances at best. We'll see if we can get a little bit more in the middle here, but for right now, looking like we'll go to a little bit of a dry spell as we go through the weekend and into the first half of next week. By about Wednesday into Thursday, that's where we could see more of that return flow and a little bit of a disturbance try to bring those chances back up from isolated maybe to scattered, hopefully. But like we said, 10 inches of rain to make up, a long way to go still, but still a little bit of 2025, so I'm definitely hopeful. Working through that 7-day forecast, though, we just saw not much rain on it. That cold front Sunday mainly drops overnight lows to the 60s by Monday morning, so feeling comfortable there, but that return flow brings us right back to the mid-70s for those overnight lows, with daytime highs hanging out around those upper 80s and that 90-degree mark.
A new program at the Hillier Center is giving local food vendors a chance to shine. Amara Conejo telling more about an opportunity aimed to help local food businesses get exposed to thousands of people.
Also coming up after the break, from Halloween fun to custom lowriders, we have a look at what events are going on around town in this week's Coastal Bend weekend.
Now, the local events and fun things to do. It's Coastal Bend
Hi, folks,
Weekend
if you're
with the
looking to
Hoffmans.
score some fun this Coastal Bend weekend, we are keeping you in the loop, or should I say, in the loop.
That's right. We're going to start off right here at In the Game Fun Trackers, where family fun is always a slam dunk. But tonight, they're going to be taking a turn to the spooky side.
We got a big night annual trunk or treat event happening here at Fun Trackers in our parking lot. It's completely free to the community. We have over 25 vendors to pass out candy. We have a DJ. We have the Pepsi truck passing out a bunch of goodies. So we have plenty to do for all ages.
The event runs from 5 to 8. Costumes, highly recommended.
Now let's carve it out straight. October is when the Wild Wolf Halloween store really howls to life.
And this Saturday, they're throwing a Halloween slasher party from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join the costume contest for a chance to win killer prizes and sink your fangs into food, drinks, music, and spooky shopping from local vendors.
Now, if you want to gear up for a really good time, the excitement is shifting into high gear with the Stop the Violence Hoptober Car Show, concert, and festival. It's proudly presented by Armadillo and Corral and Leal Bros Custom Painting.
We're talking vendors, room-worthy food, jammin' tunes, games, and prizes. You can also come check out some custom low riders, catch some hoppin' car action, and cruise into an environment of community support. It all starts Saturday from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m.
You can also swing into the weekend at Heritage Park for the 65th Annual Texas Jazz Festival. It's a free event that's sure to hit all the right notes, open to all ages.
With 3 stages of smooth sounds, tasty bites, and local vendors, there's plenty to keep you grooving all all weekend long.
And don't forget, in Aransas Pass, the 77th annual Shrimpery Festival is taking over all weekend long.
Bring your appetite, though, for some shrimp, some live music, vendors, parades, and a whole lot of Gulf Coast vibes. You can find the full schedule on our website.
And you know what, folks? There are so many more events we didn't even have time to mention. So make sure you head to our website to claw into action and have your pick.
And hey, if you want to see your own event on a future Coast Bend weekend, maybe drop us a message and we'll post on next week's.
Well, taking a look out there this Friday morning at Snoopy's Pier, thanks to Matthew CCAC. It's October 17th, making our way through the month, supposed to be in those mid-60s for overnight lows. Right now sitting at 77 degrees over there at Snoopy's Pier. Winds out of the south-southeast about 7 miles an hour. Traffic flowing nice and smooth there along the bridge, as you can see, and getting a good look in your neighborhood this morning. Sitting in the 70s, the 60s for most of us, even 180-degree mark out there. Port Aransas coming in at that for the warm spot. Winds also out of the southeast at 8 miles an hour there, 7 miles an hour over at the Naval Air Station, which is coming in at 77 this morning, 66 over there in Allison, Kingsville, and 65 going to be the cool spot for Hebronville as well as Beeville this morning with pretty calm winds. And visibility is not looking too bad either, but as we're planning out our Friday here in Corpus Christi, you can see 11 a.m., 84 degrees for us, 87 by the time we're heading towards that 1 p.m. hour, topping out 89 to 90 degrees as we're heading into 3 and 4 p.m. with those winds also topping out around that time out of the east-southeast, 10 to 15 miles an hour as we go through our day with plenty of mostly sunny skies here for us on our Friday. But as we go into the weekend, plenty more sunshine on the way, maybe just 1 or 2 showers trying to work in today. We'll talk about those rain chances and that full 7-day forecast coming up in just a bit, so don't go anywhere.
TxDOT officials and workers walking 10 intersections in Corpus Christi just like this. I'm Tony Jaramillo on the south side, and I'll explain what's behind this eye-catching display.
Now, 20 minutes of non-stop news, sponsored by Ewald Kubota.
Good morning, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for our 20 minutes of nonstop news. I'm Michelle Hoffman. So we have plenty of neighborhood news for you, as always. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Stephen Jones. He has a look at our roadways this Friday morning. Good morning, Stephen.
Well, good morning, Michelle, and it was pretty good out there this morning. Stepping out the door, I thought it felt great out there. It was in the 60s here in Corpus Christi, 70 degrees as we're looking out there at our SPID Skycam, and you can see traffic starting to pick up just a little bit out and about right now on some of our roadways there on SPID at least, but getting a good look around the entire Corpus Christi area, at least more in depth. Not too many major slowdowns, but here's an in-depth look at the Harbor Bridge. You can see to and from Portland, good and green both ways this morning. Ocean Drive, no major slowdowns right now, as well as Ennis Jocelyn and SPID. Saratoga also looking good. The only minor slowdown we have here, maybe over Crosstown Expressway and SPID, that interchange there. A slight slowdown to keep in mind as you're heading out the door. Over closer to the island, working into the Flower Bluff area. Flower Bluff Drive, good and green both ways. Waldron Road, just a small slowdown to worry about there. And of course, the normal slowdown there near the Naval Air Station near the gate. Of course, some of those drive times as well this morning, sitting at 22 minutes. Coming from downtown to the island, Portland to downtown sitting at 8. Cal Allen to downtown coming in around that 15-minute mark. So all good and green wherever you're coming from, wherever you're going to head out the door this morning, but don't go anywhere. More news and weather heading your way.
Last year, I told you about pedestrian safety and TxDOT's campaign to save lives. I'm Tony Jaramillo, your neighborhood news reporter on the south side, walking you through the stats to see what changed from last year's report.
The Texas Department of Transportation's Walking Billboards campaign has hit 10 Corpus Christi neighborhoods. The people who wear warning signs on their back while walking are hitting the pavement at 7 downtown intersections and 3 on the city's south side.
It falls on you to an extent because we all have a part in our own safety. We can't expect everybody else to watch out for us.
Richard Spencer tells me he walks everywhere he goes.
For the most part, though, like when I cross the street, I stop and make eye contact with any vehicles.
Spencer says at the end of the day, it's up to everyone to make sure they are aware at all times.
All I can say is if you're a pedestrian, you might be in the right, but if you get hit by a car, it doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong, you're still going to end up in the hospital.
TxDOT launched the Walking Billboards campaign to help raise awareness to prevent tragic accidents. According to TxDOT, in 2023, 8 pedestrians were killed by a vehicle and 19 were hurt. In 2024, 11 were killed and 16 were hurt.
It's not just the drivers. Everybody both pedestrians and drivers have to do it together for everybody to be safe.
TxDOT identifies October as the deadliest month for pedestrians in Texas. Traffic safety specialist David Pilati says speeding and drunk driving aren't the only causes.
Not only are the drivers getting more and more used to having their phones in their cars and being distracted in that way.
Pilati says drivers aren't the only ones not paying attention.
But on the pedestrian side, people are doing the same thing with their phones.
TxDOT officials say with daylight saving time ending soon, this information is even more crucial. On the south side, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tony Jaramillo, Chris 6 News.
Tony, thank you so much. For more on his story, head to our website, christv.com. And folks, we have plenty of neighborhood news to get to this morning, from neighbors in Alice upset over the condition of a cemetery to an initiative aimed to help local food vendors thrive. We have you covered in your neighborhood check-in.
I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter in Alice. This big tree behind me is a concern for one woman whose family has plots here at the Old Collins Cemetery. Lamar Chapa tells me she's been trying to find a solution for months, but she's yet to find a way to get the cemetery cleaned up. Lamar Chapa lives in Robstown, but has family buried at the Old Collins Cemetery in Alice. Every time she visits, she sees trash. When she was getting ready to get her sister a headstone earlier this year, she heard some disturbing news from the funeral home. There's a large dead tree close to the family plot. Headstones and graves in the area of the tree are in danger of being damaged if that tree falls. Plus, Chapa says the illegal dumping at the cemetery is out of hand. She's reached out to officials, but nothing has been done yet. I spoke with Alice's city manager, who says they'll be sending a tree removal company to look at the tree.
A new program at the Hillier Center is giving local food vendors a chance to shine. Amara Conejo telling more about an opportunity aimed to help local food businesses get exposed to thousands of people. Local vendors in Corpus Christi like Patricia Rodriguez of Nacho's Authentic Mexican Food are struggling, but hope is on the horizon. A new community food vendor incubator pilot program at the Hillier Center will give local, non-brick-and-mortar food businesses a chance to run a concession stand for 3 to 6 months. In partnership with OVG Hospitality, the program offers training, marketing, mentorship, and exposure. Applications are now open until November 1st.
Well, good morning, Coastal Bend. Taking a live look at our USS Lexington cam brought to us by First Community Bank. 70 degrees out there. Wind's pretty light right now out of the south-southeast. And you can see the Harbor Bridge in the view. Traffic flowing very nice along it there, at least the new Harbor Bridge and the old Harbor Bridge in view for now. As we're looking at the almanac from our Thursday, 90 degrees for that daytime high is where we topped out at yesterday. Overnight lows, though, were right on the money, 66 degrees. Above that record we set back in 1974, coming in at 47 degrees, and the daytime high record only 4 degrees shy, 94 set back in 2016. And we, of course, we know need a lot of rain to make up for where we are in 2025. Not looking the best right now for that situation. Current temperatures in the Coastal Bend in the 60s, the 70s, and we did have an 80 degrees over at Port Aransas, has since dropped down to 79 right now, 77 at the Naval Air Station, 78 at Rockport, and then 65 up in Beeville as well as San Diego. Going to be our cool spot this morning as we're heading into our Friday and starting off the day, but all of us going to make our way up into those 80s. Looking like a great day to take the pup for a walk. Our pup of the day is Taz out here, just enjoying a view of the water, a nice breeze going along him as well. And as we're looking at how those temperatures shape up, going into the 80s by 10 a.m., 84 by 11, 86 by that lunchtime hour. Winds also slightly going up from calm and variable this morning to out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour, even 10 to 15 as you work your way through the afternoon. A quick look at the upper level pattern. We've been dealing with this higher pressure off towards the east. The next trough is working in, luckily, going into Saturday night and then Sunday. That's where we're going to see that next cold front working in. Unfortunately, the core of the cold air really going to remain well off towards the north. So a cold front does look to work in, at least knocking on our doorstep. Unfortunately, just means likely a wind shift for a day or so. Temperature's not going to change drastically. For the current Doppler radar, a little bit of activity over the past 3 hours up towards the Sea Drift area, off towards the north of the Coastal Bend. Unfortunately, nothing right here in town, but as we're looking at the future, future tracker does want to remain with it off towards the north just a little bit, but I'm hoping we see it shift just a little bit further south today, maybe at least over towards Rockport into Beeville as well. We could see some of that activity trying to work into the area, even into the overnight hours. So that's what I'm really watching for in terms of rain. And in terms of temperatures, we're going to likely see warmer and above average temperatures pushing into the Rocky Mountains as well as the Lone Star State and yes, the coastal bend as well. So don't expect the upper 80s and that 90-degree mark to vanish from the board completely soon at least. And in terms of the muggy meter, going to be bouncing around a little bit. You could see that front dipping our dew points by Sunday into Monday even, that is. But then after we go through that, really sitting around 70 degrees for that dew point. With as that 7-day forecast, that's going to help hold the daytime high around 90 degrees or so for the daytime high. There's that cold front for you. The main effect going to be overnight lows going from the 70s down to about 69 degrees, but then right back into those 70s with overnight lows in those 70s and daytime highs about 90 degrees.
1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer. I'm Michaela Chavez, your Sunrise Neighborhood News reporter. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we're talking about the screening that could save your life and the new guidelines every woman should know. Linda Garrett was diagnosed with breast cancer 2 years ago.
I absolutely had no signs at all.
It was because of her routine mammogram that she is now a breast cancer survivor.
It was a routine screening. I've always done my yearly mammograms.
Early detection made all the difference. Catching it in stage 1 means her 5-year survival rate is almost 100%. At stage 4, that rate drops to just 30%.
We are all so busy. We're all taking care of other people, and we don't think enough about taking care of us.
Here's the reality. Most breast cancer happens to people with no family history, so everyone needs to get screened. Average risk women should start screening at 40, then every 2 years. Higher risk women, those with dense breasts or family history, should start earlier and screen more often. Not sure which category you're in? Cancer Prevention Director at Texas Tech, Jennifer Malokwu, says the American Cancer Society has a resource to help.
You can actually calculate your risk by entering information about yourself.
She says that's a great way to start a conversation with your primary care provider or OBGYN.
People are under this wrong assumption that healthcare providers don't like questions. We are actually very happy when people come to us directly with their concerns and state what it is that we're worried about, because we can address it, target it, and take care of it right away.
And while breast cancer is rare in men, they can get it too. So if you notice something unusual, see your doctor. For women, though, Garrett has simple advice. Take control and treat yourself afterwards.
Go for it. Just go get a mammogram. You can go get a mammogram and then go buy yourself some shoes, because you've just done yourself a huge favor.
If you're interested in getting screened, I'll have that link in my story on ChrisTV.com. And to show your support, you can still sign up for free for the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk on October 25th at Bayfront Park, where our very own Michelle and Brian Hoffman will be emceeing. In the studio, I'm Michaela Chavez.
Michaela, thank you so much. And like Michaela said, the annual Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk will be held Saturday, October 25th, and the 5K walk helps raise funds for cancer research. And this year, again, the Making Strides will be emceeing that event, Brian Hoffman and I, and the walk has a new start time at 11 a.m. It begins at Bayfront Park on North Shoreline. Check-in is at 9:30 a.m. And for more information, you can head to our website, ChrisTV.com.
Now.
Today marks day 17 of the government shutdown, with Republicans and Democrats warning the stalemate could stretch on for many more days. Democrats are holding firm in their demands for Obamacare subsidies to be extended. President Trump has hinted that he could release a list today of Democratic programs he wants to cut as a result of the shutdown. On Tuesday, the president told reporters the programs will close and will not be continued when the government reopens. The president stressed that so-called Republican programs will be preserved. Federal courts are expected to exhaust their funds today amid the government shutdown, and with that money exhausted, it will be up to the courts themselves as well as federal defenders' offices to try to determine which of its 33,000 staffers are essential. That could cause some hearing dates for court cases to be delayed and rescheduled. The Administrative Office of the U.S. Court said in a statement it used court fee balances and other funds to keep business operating operating as usual. President Donald Trump is set to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky today at the White House. The meeting comes as President Trump considers Ukraine's request for long-range Tomahawk missiles. It also comes ahead of another planned summit between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Hungary. The president told reporters Thursday that the two had a long and productive phone call, but did not say when the meeting will take place. The city of Kingsville will be having a special meeting at the City Hall next Wednesday to discuss the judge's decision to allow the recall election of 3 city commissioners. As we reported previously, the attorney representing the city and the 3 commissioners said the recall petition was not filed in time. He also mentioned he believes that the judge made a mistake. According to the attorney, they only have 10 days to appeal the decision, and if the appeal is allowed, it means it will go to the Texas 13th District Court of Appeals. The disaster declaration for the city of Beeville has been extended. Last Thursday, the city made its official declaration of a local state of disaster due to low levels in Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon. That declaration was set to expire in 7 days. The council approved the 30-day extension at a special meeting on Wednesday. However, a vote on amending water restrictions and penalties to reflect Stage 4 was tabled and will be moved to a later date. The VA Texas Valley Coastal Bend Healthcare System will be hosting a drive-through flu clinic for veterans this weekend. It will take place Saturday from 8 a.m. to noon at the Corpus Christi West Point VA, and that's located at 925 SPID. No appointment is needed, and the clinic is open to all enrolled veterans. Now, here's a look at what's trending. The Mega Millions jackpot now stands at a whopping $625 million. That's the 11th largest amount in the game's history and the highest it's been since December. The cash option for tonight's drawing is $288.8 million. This after no ticket matched all 6 numbers on Tuesday night. It's been more than 3 months since the last jackpot was won. And now for the $1 million question, or $625 million question, Stephen. What would you do with the money if you won the lottery? Oof. We always have to ask everybody when this story pops up.
I mean, that's a tough question. You know, that's a lot of money out there.
Yeah.
You know, got to take care of the responsibilities first, like student loans, pay down the debts. That's going to be my answer. And then investing it to make sure it keeps growing, right?
I know. That's exactly what I would do too. And then travel the world or something like that.
I guess, might as well treat yourself too. Are you a big gambler? I guess it would be, playing the Powerball.
But Brian will buy a ticket here and there, but not all the time.
Okay, yeah, because I know the Powerball was just like way up there not too long ago either. That was over $1 billion. So it's just a lot of money right there in gambling, it looks like. But of course, I'll get to the weather too. Let's look at how our Friday is going to be stacking up out there. A live look at Snoopy's Pier right now, thanks to Matthews CCAC, 6:55 a.m. right now, 77 degrees, light winds, and a couple early boaters on the water. Traffic flowing smoothly there. Moving over towards the island as well and getting a good look over the past 10 hours. A nice cool down since last night. 77 degrees there at 9 p.m., 73 by 1 a.m., and 70 degrees there by 3 a.m. have since gone down to 69 degrees or so here in Corpus Christi. At least around the rest of the coastal bend have seen 60s, 70s, even 80 degrees earlier at Port Aransas. For right now, we're sitting at that 69 degree mark here in town. Humidity at 93%, and winds are fairly light here in for most of our inland communities, I should say. Along the coast, just a little bit more wind, only sitting around 9 miles an hour or so, though. In terms of that moisture, you can see dew points in the 70s along the coast for Rockport as well as Port Aransas. 72, the peak there at Naval Air Station Corpus Christi. Here in town, sitting at 67, same for Portland. And then as you work your way inland, a little drier. The driest spot going to be Beeville, coming in at about 62 degrees for that dew point right now. And looking like a good day at that, but going to be a little warm with daytime highs pushing to the upper 80s, but going to be feeling like the upper 90s thanks to those dew points. 92 by noon, 95 by 2, 97 is what I'm forecasting for the feels like top temperature of the day, 97 or 8 degrees. Then of course we start that nightly cool down back into the 70s as we kick off our Saturday tomorrow. For the current rain situation, not too much on the radar right now. A little bit of activity earlier and going into this morning off towards the north, towards the Sea Drift area. And as we look at the future tracker, could see a little bit more into that area, but I'm hoping it shifts just a little bit further south, at least maybe into Rockport and Beeville, to see see some rain working back into the area. We all know we could use it. Here in Corpus Christi, we're at least 10 inches shy in terms of rainfall for 2025 of where we should be. So hopefully some of this works its way back down into Corpus Christi. Just right now, like I said, models indicating that's going to be just outside the region. So as we're heading into our weekend, kicking off a beautiful one at that, heading out, if you're heading out to Shrimpery or maybe the Jazz Fest as well, only going to be 91 degrees, maybe 90 there by Sunday. Overnight lows kicking off your days in the lower 70s, and winds not too bad either in the afternoons out of the south and east-southeast 10 to 15 miles an hour. Gusts, of course, upwards of 20 miles an hour at times. Planning out your Friday for you. As we go into the afternoon, that's where the winds start to pick up into the afternoon and topping out about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Daytime highs should be about 90 degrees, and through the 7-day forecast, they hold about that 90-degree mark with overnight lows going into the 70s. A weak cold front Saturday night drops us into the 60s for a night before return flow. Just brings us right back into the 70s, but really overall, not as much rain on the board as I want to see. What about you, Michelle?
Yeah, for the weekend, like I say, I think the weather is perfect, but definitely on the weekdays, we want to see that rain because we definitely need it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Stephen. And folks, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. We will see you on Monday.